What's up, guys? Today I want to talk to you about wrestling, and I want to give some advice to some young fighters or what I think is good advice to young fighters. And the thing is you need to wrestle as much as you can when you're young. Guys, when you don't think about this when you're young, but I promise you, the grind that you put in when you are 18, 19, 20 years old, 22 years old, your body cannot handle that same grind as you get older. So you need to develop these skills at a high level in just as much as you possibly can when you are young. You need to grapple, you need to wrestle as much as you possibly can, because when you get older your body can't handle that same level, especially if you've had injuries in grappling. You're going to have injuries. You might have possibly have surgeries. You're going to be injured. It's going to be rough, right? So if you notice, guys, if you watch a lot of the older wrestlers, they don't wrestle at all. Look at Yoel Romero. This is an Olympic silver medalist that doesn't even shoot takedowns. This is Cormier, another Olympian, didn't wrestle when he got older. Uh, Dan Henderson, same thing, didn't wrestle. Your body can't handle it the same, guys. I think a lot of wrestlers like really think, or at least in the training room, like wrestlers that become high level fighters know better. But in the training room, I think the wrestlers almost think they're tougher because they've been able to go through that grind when they were young. You can't go through a college level wrestling grind at 30 years old the way you could when you were 20, or very few people have been able to since I've been fighting and seeing fighting. And it even gets worse as you get older, right? That's why you see all of the older wrestlers are strikers for a reason. Because their body is taking damage. It takes a lot more cardio. Offensive wrestling is probably the most tiring part of MMA. Like trying to take someone down who, especially if they have good takedown defense and don't want to be taken down, that's one of the hardest parts from a cardio standpoint of MMA. So simple advice. I don't want to make the video super long, but basically, you need to wrestle when you're young. You need to wrestle as much as you possibly can when you're young, because the older you get, the less your body is going to be able to handle this. And as long as you develop those skills at a young age, assuming you still want to fight when you're 30 or 35, it depends on you as an individual, of course. But the earlier you develop those skills and get these reps and get a lot of live rounds, the more you can maintain a career through in grappling. Especially if you do want to grapple in MMA, the more you can maintain that as you get older. Like it's so hard to take a college wrestler down that a lot of them just become good strikers because as they get older, because their body can't handle the grind of trying to practice getting the cardio to take someone down at 3 or 4 times in one round, or continuously taking them down and being able to hold them down as they get older. So they just take the opposite approach of, okay, I'm just going to get really good at striking, and my wrestling base that I developed at a young age is gonna save me and keep me from going to the ground to begin with. And for the most part, they've been right. Look at Cormier. He was a world champion when he got older. Stipe, Dan Henderson, these guys even Randy Couture. If you look at Randy Couture, he wasn't necessarily, when he got older, he wasn't taking people down. He was pinning them on the fence and dirty boxing them because he's a Greco-Roman wrestler. So he has a style that's upper body based, and it worked out great for him. He was a 5-time world champion, right? So basically, just you see it constantly. The older wrestlers, it's obvious their bodies can't handle it. And I know because I've wrestled. I didn't wrestle in high school or anything, but I wrestled. I did about 5 years of wrestling with the Iranian wrestlers. Phenomenal training, world-class technique. I wrestled with my team in Maryland. Our wrestling coach there, one of our wrestling coaches there was the wrestling coach of the Naval Academy. And we drilled a lot more technique as I got older versus doing as much live. We would still come in and do 2 hours of wrestling, even if it was just drilling, but it was a lot of reps, a lot of details on technique, and then you would pick a couple days a week to train your wrestling and jiu-jitsu combined, just because the older you get, your body can't handle it the same, guys. So yeah, just my opinion, young fighters, wrestle as much as you can when you are young, because at some point there's going to come a time, if you keep fighting, where your body just can't handle the grind the same, especially if you've had surgeries and injuries and stuff, and a lot of us have, that your body just can't keep up with that and stay healthy and be able to make it to the fight. So to counter that, you grind early and hard when you're young as much as you can when early on in your career, and it'll carry you through pretty well. And from that perspective, just something to think about. If you guys are new to martial arts, looking for a gym, get my book, The Ultimate Guide to Choosing Your Martial Arts School and Instructor. Link is in the description below. Comment any videos or comment any techniques or videos you'd like me to make. Thank you guys.